This is Sports Drive.
Welcome back into Sports Drive once again. I'm your host, Preston Moore. Mentioned we'd be talking girls and boys high school basketball. We talked about girls high school basketball for a little bit just a bit ago, talking about West Plains and Randall's big game tomorrow night. There's other big games going on tomorrow night as well. Like I mentioned, the boys high school basketball playoffs start tonight, and tomorrow night will be the bi-district round. Joining me to talk about that is head coach of the Hereford White Faces, Nik Brown. Coach Brown, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Preston?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to talk some Hereford Whiteface basketball. You guys are in the bi-district round now. It's now or never, basically, for teams now. When you get to the playoffs, you get to this stage of the season, and it's win or go home from here on out. And the games will only continue to get harder. But you guys starting off with a big, tough game against Seminole, a good Seminole team starting off tomorrow night. How have you been preparing your guys for this game, knowing that it's a different energy, it's a different environment once the playoffs start?
Sure. I mean, we've been preparing for it since the beginning of the season, and playing in tournaments, and then our district being as tough as it was. I mean, to get out of that thing is an accomplishment in itself, just to get out of that district and to be able to say you're in the top four, with all the good teams and good coaches that we faced it against. I mean, it was a battle every game for sure. Mm-hmm. And then so we're tested and we're ready to go at it and see what we can do. They finished tied for first in their district, and then they flipped for it with Greenwood. And so West Plains gets Greenwood, and then we get Seminole. So I think it's a good matchup for us. They're tough. They're good. I mean, they've won 20 games. It's not like we're playing an easy opponent, but I think we're gonna go out and play hard and have a good time doing it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to talk a little bit more about that game, but before we do that, I kind of want to take time right now to look back on the season as a whole. Obviously, long season. Basketball is the only sport with Christmas break right smack dab in the middle of it. So you guys been doing this for 3 months now, been going at it, and your team has obviously, like you mentioned, being in the district that you're in, it's an accomplishment in and of itself to get out of that district. What do you take away from this season, and what do you think are some of the highs and lows? Where did your expectations, where did you meet expectations? Did you exceed certain expectations? When you look back on this season, kind of how do you evaluate it as coach?
Yeah, it was a good season for us. It's not over, obviously, but the regular season is. And it was a good season. It was a lot of learning, and we don't, again, we've talked about this. We don't call it losing. We call it learning, and we had a lot of wins as well and a lot of good times. And we came together as a team and we're enjoying each other. I've got a good group of seniors. I don't have many. So we've got a lot of guys coming back next year. We're excited about that too. The community's rallied around us. And it's been a good first year for me. I've really enjoyed our parents. I've really enjoyed the kids. I've really enjoyed the community coming back to Hereford. I was at Boys Ranch last year, and then coming back to Hereford, everybody's welcomed me with open arms, and it's been a good time for my family, and we've been excited about being back here for sure.
Absolutely. Well, and like you mentioned, the season is not over yet, but you did have a strong regular season, and this was your first year back at Hereford. Like we talked about, you were at Boys Ranch last year. So when it comes to that aspect of it and coming back to Hereford after being away for a little bit of time, how do you think the team itself responded to that when you look back at the regular season as a whole? Because it's difficult when you're implementing a new system, when you got a new coach, there's a different coaching style, a different play style in a lot of ways, different plays that you're drawn up in the huddle and timeouts. I mean, how do you feel like the team responded to your style of coaching and what you were trying to do with the program?
Yeah, and as coming into a head coach in a new program, a lot of people don't have the same kind of experience that I had. So I coached all these guys when they were JV and freshmen.
Right.
So they knew me. They knew how I worked. They know how, I expect the hard work, the togetherness, the making the extra pass, and all those kind of things that we talk about, playing defense, playing team defense. So they already knew me. So it was a little easier for me coming back over because I'd already coached every single one of these kids, So and I got to have a kid like Ty Duque. I mean, he's a great kid and works hard, plays hard. I mean, when people watch him play, it's like my grandmother. She always watches online and stuff, and she's like, he's my favorite player. He plays so hard, and so it's been a real pleasure coaching those guys for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like we mentioned, it's not done yet. You still have this game against Seminole and hopefully more to come after that. But you do have to get past the Indians first, and it's a tough task to start the playoffs with. So when it comes to preparing for them, you talked about it. They flipped the coin. You ended up with Seminole. You liked their matchup, you said. So when it comes to this, how do you feel your team matches up against Seminole in terms of the skill set that you have? You mentioned your star player, Ty Duque, really, really great player for you guys. And then Seminole as well. How do you feel like your team matches up with the Seminole Indians for this game coming up?
Yeah, they're a tough team. I mean, they've got a couple shooters. They've got a big guy, and we matched up with them last year. And obviously we lost 6 seniors from last year. So, I mean, it's a whole new team, and they lost a couple seniors as well. So it's a whole new year, whole new team, but they do a lot of the same stuff that, that we seen last year. And we do a lot of the same stuff that they seen last year. So it's going to be a good matchup, kind of a little chess game going on. And it's not like the regular season where you have next week, you have next week to figure it out and to figure out and to learn. So this is an exciting time of the year to be able to not only be a part of it, but to have a chance at winning this game too, because I could really see all 4 of our teams, because of our district being so tough and everybody having to fight and be able to play week to week at tough games. I can see all 4 of us having a good chance on getting out. But I mean, we've got to make that happen for sure for us.
Right. Coming from one of the better districts in the state of Texas, I could certainly see that happening as well. This is, like we mentioned, you weren't at Hereford last year, but it is a rematch from last year's by-district game, a game in which the Whitefaces lost last year against Seminole 46-37. How do you think that factors into it? You mentioned a lot of graduating seniors, so it's a new team. This isn't necessarily the same matchup as last year, but there are some returners on your team who probably still have a bad taste in their mouth from that game that might want some revenge, I would imagine.
Yeah, we're hungry. We've had a good week of practice in the first playoff game, especially when who you're going to play early. You get a lot of time to prepare. I mean, no other week do you have this much time to prepare. Because of all the district, reassessments and all that kind of stuff, and everybody getting their position where they're supposed to be. So we've had a solid week of practice getting prepared for these guys, and we're excited to go at it. I mean, they've got a couple players, number 0, number 2, Carter and Logan. I mean, they can play. They're good. And then they have a big guy, number 24. I'm looking up his name right now, Jalen. He can shoot the ball. He can take it down low. I mean, we've been watching a lot of film on him, but the team, at this point in the year, they either, come on and let's go and show up, or, you kind of fall off. And I think we're going to show up. I really do. We've had some good practices, and we're ready to go for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we're certainly looking forward to it quite a lot and rooting for you guys and hoping to see how everything shakes out with Hereford and Seminole. Going to be a really great game tomorrow night. One more time before we let you go, Coach, could you remind us or tell our viewers who may not know when and where we can see this game?
Sure. And there's going to be 2 games. So I mean, if you come out, it's going to be a great time. We start at 6 o'clock and we play Seminole. And then West Plains and Greenwood play right after us at the Shallow Water. And we tried to set that up so, everybody can be there and we get good crowds and stuff at Shallow Water at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. So tomorrow. Right. So, we're excited about it. So come on out and support us for sure. We need it.
Absolutely. We're certainly looking forward to it. Once again, Coach, thank you very much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And best of luck tomorrow night with that by-district game.
Yeah, thanks, Preston. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with more Sports Drive right after this break.